The Guns on Pegs podcast is brought to you by iTap Group. Hello and welcome to the Guns on Pegs podcast. It's George in Hampshire.
It's Avian in Cornwall.
It's Jake in Suffolk.
And it is Sam in Devon.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Very good.
Pretty damn good, actually, even though the weather's all over the place, isn't it? We've had cold and sunny and wet and mild, and I don't know what to do with it.
Well, the crazy thing, we were shooting last weekend and it was 17 degrees and it was unbelievably, actually it wasn't last weekend, it was the weekend before, but 17 degrees. The following Monday was -2
Yes.
when I got in the car to take the kids to school. The swing was ridiculous. Yes. Anyway, enough weather chat. It's the day after my birthday. Let's have a drink. Sam, you go first. What have you got?
I've been to St Austell Brewery. I haven't actually been down there.
I was going to say, if you had and not popped in, Sam, we'd have to have words, mate.
Very rude, and I wouldn't have done that. I think Tribute has featured on the podcast probably more than once. I think I may have even had it on the podcast potentially. So I have got a bottle of Tribute, but I've got the 2025 Vintage Extra Special Tribute coming in at a tasty 7.4% compared to the normal 4.2.
Holy God.
I thought it was a bit of a winter version of a summer beer that I like. So we'll give that a go.
Sounds very good.
And I've got another bottle of Standard Tribute to go afterwards if I make it that far.
If you're still upright.
Yeah.
I mean, 7.2, that's very nearly park bench strength, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? It's I do like a strong beer, but obviously consumed in moderation.
In what now?
Moderation? I'm not sure what it means.
No,
Somebody told me.
Not familiar with it. No, don't know what you're talking
I
about.
know. But that is very, very nice winter warmer beer. Cheers, chaps.
Very nice. Cheers. Avian, how about you?
I'm staying local. I've got a Tintagel Brewery Castle Gold. Bottle of that's 4.2%. And if that one goes down nicely, then we might slide down the coast a little bit to the Padstow Brewing Company, where I've got one of their Windjammer Cornish Copper Ales. So I'm staying quite metallic today, I think. So we'll give one of those a try.
That sounds fantastic. Good name, Windjammer.
I like it.
And copper presumably sits somewhere between pale ale and golden ale, does it?
We'll find out in a minute, or whether it's periodic table and it's sort of a nod to the whichever mine was closest. But I'm going to go with the gold first. Yes, very good. Yes, I'm going to enjoy that.
As long as it's not that copper colour that's kind of a green as it oxidizes.
Verdigris beer. No, I don't think that would go down particularly well, would it? Let's hope not, sir.
Right, so we've got two Cornish beers. Jake.
So I am going completely over the pond to Chicago. I was given a bottle of gin, the Koval gin, made and distilled in Chicago itself using their grains. So happy Thanksgiving to all our American friends and family. And chaps, here we go. It's a good old gin and tonic, but with gin from Chicago.
Very nice. How is it?
Are you ice and slice?
Ice and splice indeed, old boy. And very, very nice indeed. Actually, that's got a real aniseedy taste to it. It's a really nice, different gin. That's incredibly nice. So thank you very much to the person who gave me that bottle. Nice meaning behind the gift. So, happy Thanksgiving to all our American friends and family.
Fantastic. George, what's the birthday boy drinking?
Well, so it was my birthday yesterday. We're recording on Thursday. Went out for supper, had a very nice time. But this drink is I'm opening it because it is a special occasion, sort of to celebrate my birthday. But it actually harks back to last year. Now, in a week or so's time, we are going to be at the 2025 Order of the Garter Shoot Day up in Yorkshire. Last year, after our day down in Sussex with Jamie Horner at Iford, a couple of the members of the Most Noble Order of the Garter came up to me and handed me a gift. Jonathan and Charlie are the people I must thank for this. I was kind of speechless at the time. It's a bottle of single malt from the Aberlour distillery, which everybody knows who's listening will know is my favourite distillery. But this is a private cask bottling.
Ooh.
It was distilled in 1994 for Charlie's grandfather, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Is that right?
Yep,
Good.
definitely.
So that makes it, well, it was 29 years old when it was bottled. And it's 55.3 ABV, cask number 8,828. And I just haven't really been brave enough to try it, is actually what it comes down to. It will be the oldest whiskey I've ever had by quite some distance. And I just haven't. I've always been a bit nervous about trying it because what if I don't like it?
I can't believe that.
I think you'd probably find a way to like it, wouldn't you?
I probably will.
They only took 50 bottles off that cask. And I believe you have got bottle number 1 of 50.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, and there's a lovely, lovely little thing. I know John and Charlie and what have you, and they were telling me the story about it. And it's a wonderful little thing where after Charlie's grandfather passed away, and there was they decided that, do you know what, they're going to take these bottles off George, and so 50 bottles of this was given. You were given number 1, and in memory of Charlie's grandfather and what happened around the family through those times, they called it.
Well, yes, I've got to tell you this because hang on a second. So when they gave it to me, it was in this beautiful presentation box. I'm going to say oak, and it is engraved at the top with the letters YNOT. Why not?
Why not indeed?
Why not indeed? So the other thing, that story is amazing, and to have bottle number 1 is amazing. I'm sort of thinking I probably just shouldn't open it. It sort of feels somehow criminal to open it, but then I remembered what it says on the box, and I thought, why not? So I have opened it. I am going to try it right now.
Come on, we're in suspense.
And it is absolutely wonderful. It is quite punchy, but it's incredibly smooth, and I'm very, very, very grateful to Jonathan and Charlie for that incredibly special gift. I also thought I'd have it today just to, set the bar for anybody who's coming to the podcast shoot day next week.
Are you fishing for favours and gifts there?
No, I
not at all.
The funny thing is that the longer I do this podcast, the more whiskey people give me, and I'm now receiving whiskey faster than I can drink it.
I find that very hard to believe, George.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
Well, you might say that, but it is true. Because my brother gave me another bottle last night.
Well, if you need any help with it, George, and there are 3 willing helpers here for sure.
Perhaps I'll bring one up to Yorkshire next
Bloody
week.
Good stuff. What a treat.
So anyway, Jonathan, Charlie, thank you very much. It's a great honour to have received that, and it's extremely delicious.
Well, George, Charlie's not a member of the Most Noble Order of the Garter, but John is.
Yeah, this is an executive decision that Charlie is very much a member of the Most Noble Order of the Garter. So we shall make sure that some garters find their way to you, Charlie. And when I say we, I mean Jake.
You've just given people an in.
Yes.
I mean, it's got to be pretty special. I mean, you can't just send me a bottle of Bells and expect some garters.
Oh, okay.
So it's high crimes and misdemeanors then.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. Well, at least we know how to short circuit it now. So
exactly. Right, chaps. What have you been doing? Have you been doing anything interesting, Avian?
I have actually. We've had a good start to the year. So since we last spoke, we shot up at Sandon Hall in Staffordshire, which was really, really good day with a group we usually shoot up in Northumberland with. One of the lads had picked this shoot on big estate there. Had a really, really good day, and then we shot a bit more locally recently at Great Fulford Estate. So big thanks to Matt Nesbitt at Sandon Hall for looking after us, and Guy Imray down at Fulford. It was the same as yours, George, 17, 18 degrees up at Sandon Hall. Luckily, not too steep there, so we weren't too exhausted. But yeah, bloody hot day that was. But on the way back, just a quick shout out. We stopped at Gloucester Services for a quick pee and a coffee break. And I was there in my oversized breeks and my garters, my pink socks. Wandered in for a coffee, and a young lad, because, I think we said before a couple of times, do you wear your clobber into the petrol station? How do you feel? I've always taken the view that, if you're positive about things, then, be sensible and it's okay. Anyway, this young lad took my coffee order and he sidled over and he said, "Have you been hunting?" And I thought, oh, Christ, what's going to come now? And I just said, yes, we've just come from a day's pheasant shooting up in Staffordshire. And it turned out that he used to go onto shoots with his father with the camera, not a shooting man, but went up with his father with the camera and did some photography on shoot days. And he said it's something he hasn't done for 2 or 3 years, but he was quite keen to get back into it. So he said he used to get in touch with a guy called Sam, who turns out to be Sam Gittings, who organises a few shoots up that way. So randomly I reached out to Sam. Sam got in touch with him, and apparently he's now back in the fold, as it were, going off to do his first couple of shoots with the camera. So shout out to Jaden. Welcome back on board, young man, and real pleasure to meet him. And actually, if you are passing that way on the Gloucester Services southbound, he makes probably the best motorway cup of coffee I've had in a bloody long time. So, yeah, really good to catch up with him.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Good job, too. Good job.
Yeah, very nice. Jake, you've been hosting all over the show, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really enjoyable season with lots going on. But I think on my socials, it's pretty crazy with what's been going on. So less about that. But chaps, I thought I'm going to just do a little bit of an update type of change here. And I was talking with 2 Order of the Garter members at dinner on Tuesday evening. And we have this question for you, chaps. So here it is. If your gun was a car, what would it be? What car would it be? Avian.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I think mine would have to be an Alfa Romeo. It's an old second-hand Italian gun. It's deliciously pretty, but it does let you down occasionally. So I always go to a shoot with a pocket full of spares. So yeah, I'd have to say Alfa Romeo for mine.
Very good, George. What about you?
Well, I think I probably could have done with a bit of notice of this question so I could properly think about it, but my instinct was to say it's a Jag.
The Bounder's gun.
The sort of disreputable British-made, could fall apart at any moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does look good. And you've got the tash. You've got the kind of look that goes with that gun and the Jag.
Yeah, it might be used for robbing a bank.
Yeah, there you go. Sam, what about you, mate?
It's probably going to sound boring to some people, but I'm going to go with is the same as my car, and it's a Toyota Hilux because it is reliable and does not let me down.
Goes everywhere.
And remind us what you shoot again, Sam?
Beretta 686.
Very good. And I think with mine, the old Turkish blunderbuss, it is an ATA. I thought, Turkey renowned for their car making, and apparently since 2018 they've been making an electric car called the Tog, and it's an SUV electric car, and I thought, well, that sums up my blunderbuss of an ATA. So there we go. That's what I've been up to, chaps, in between hosting and enjoying days in the field, coming up with questions like that. So it's been a good month.
Very Excellent. Good. Sam, any fun times for you, or have you been at the grindstone?
No, at the grindstone for me. All work, no play since we last spoke. We said about the weather earlier. It kind of, I don't feel like we had a summer during the summer because we just had a bit of a desert. So we kind of had a summer, October and into early November. And then we've suddenly been hit by winter. So it's been get everything in off the ground. So yeah, just settling into winter, but I am looking forward to some days out in December and January.
Very good. Right. Let's move on. Avian, can we have a cider update, please?
Not much to update. I've done my trip down to see Tom at Hayward's Farm, got my juice. I think we said last time I've now got 3 plastic containers bubbling away. We've got one for some friends just the other side of Launson from their little orchard in the garden. We've got one barrel of apple juice from Hayward's farm that I've put a proprietary cider yeast in that's doing quite nicely. And the other one is just bubbling away on the natural yeast off the apples themselves. So very much taking Tom's advice, which is leave the bloody thing alone until at least January. So I'm doing my best to leave it be. I'll pop in every now and again just to make ssure it isn't all on the ceiling.
I was going to say, nothing's exploded yet.
Not yet. Not that I've found, anyway. But I think this changeable weather could be interesting because obviously as it warms up, the yeast will get going, and we have a couple of cold days, it'll cool down again. So we're going to have a fairly interesting fermentation period. But now it's basically sit on your hands till January, and we'll find out what's going on with it then.
So have you got it stored out in the garage or in the basement?
Yes and no. I've got two out in the garage because they were a bit lively. But I set the first one up in the house and it's a bit too lively to move. So it hasn't exploded, so I've left it.
Do not touch.
Yeah, so it's a potentially a little bit of a time bomb or a landmine. So yeah, if that goes horribly wrong, it's right next to Claire's washing on the clothes horse and underneath all the coats. So it could go absolutely disastrously wrong, but I daren't move it.
You're trying not to cough too hard in that room.
Yes, or even look at it askance.
Well, so we've got a little while to go before you're going to taste it, but we have had some correspondence about possible names.
Ah, excellent.
Sam, do you want to give us the first one?
Yeah, so Simon's been in touch and he says, after undertaking some vigorous product testing and listening to the latest episode, I have a few name suggestions for avian cider. P.S. he adds, these all made perfect sense and were very, very funny in my current state. So he suggested Loading Juice,
Right.
Orchard of the Garter, Beater's Brew, Cider Peg, Fully Choked, and, careful how we say it, Pheasant Plucking Cider.
They're pretty good, actually, aren't they?
They are quite
They
good.
are
I like
yeah.
Orchard of the Garter.
I like Orchard of the Garter. I think Pheasant Plucking Cider, that really just is problems all the way down, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Fully Choked's pretty good, but I think you have to wait and see how punchy it is before to decide whether you can call it that.
And I guess is Beater's Brew, is that if it goes really, really well or really, really badly?
Oh, you save the good stuff for the beaters.
Always.
Sure. In fact, we should just... Avian's been moonlighting on Scribehound again and wrote a very good piece about the benefits of beating and how beating could be a solution to the ongoing mental health crisis that the country is facing. Excellent piece. Highly recommend people go and check it out. So yeah, do that. Now, we have had another bit of correspondence. Jake, would you do the honours with this one, please?
Yes, of course. So Blair has also been in touch in a similar vein, Avian. He says the following: Good morning, gents. After listening to the latest excellent episode of the GOP podcast, I have arrived at what must surely be the name of Avian Cider. Truly scrumptious. And not only is it a nod to the flavour of what I'm sure will be a delightful tipple, but more importantly, it allows us to press Avian for a jaunty, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, bang-esque tune to come along with it. Of course, in the unlikely event...
Listen, I've heard Avian sing.
It's not good, George, is it? No.
Yeah, there we go. So in the unlikely event, Blair goes on to say that the cider becomes an awful headache-inducing elixir, might I suggest Avian Flu? And he follows up with, keep up the good work, gentlemen, and all the best to you and my fellow listeners for the remainder of the season.
I think there's some belters there.
No matter how much I want Avian to sing a jaunty,
No,
chitty,
Sam,
chitty,
you
bang,
really
bang
don't.
tune. I love the name Avian Flu.
I think that's brilliant.
I think Avian Flu's the win.
What about Avian Brew?
Avian Brew.
Well, I think if it's any good, I think we go with Simon's Orchard of the Garter. I think that's genius. And if it's, dare we say, maybe not tip-top prize award winning, then it has to be Avian's Flu Brew.
Well, hang on a second. You've got 3 batches on the go, so that means you can employ 3 different names.
Yeah.
Very true. Or I could blend and try and get one drinkable one.
Do you think now we've got some names, we could ask the listeners to maybe produce some sort of bottle label pictures as well?
Excellent. Some brand, some brand ID. Fantastic.
ChatGPT images. I cannot wait to see these.
No
AI.
No AI.
We'd like coloured pencils and wax crayons on circles of safety paper. But yeah, definitely. Well, let's aim for Orchard of the Garter and Avian's Flu Brew, if it's good or if it's terrible. We've got the others in there as well. I'm a little concerned about Cider Peg.
I was trying to work that one out.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get some label ideas in. And fingers crossed. We'll see. We've only got a few months now to see if any of it's drinkable. It might just be Drano. Who knows?
So that's all very good. pod@gunsonpegs.com for your label ideas, or if you've got any improvements on any of those name ideas. Chaps, we've had quite a lot of correspondence recently, so I thought we'd just go through a few bits that we've had in. So I'm not sure if you heard Chris and I talking with Emily about different whether pheasant takes on the flavour of what it's been eating, and the flavours of pheasant. And we've had an email along those lines. Perhaps Avian, you could do the honours with this one.
Yeah, I think this is quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah, so we've had a bit of correspondence from Emma. And Emma writes, your last podcast quandary over hospitality and socialising at shoots certainly struck a chord. I sit firmly on the Guns on Pegs podcast side, but it was, in fact, your later discussion around game having distinctive flavours from local habitats or feed that compelled me to share a story from 3 years ago when my husband and I moved to mid-Sussex. We were hurtling, I'm sure she means driving perfectly safely and sensibly, down a back lane of Balcombe when a suicidal pheasant jumped out in front of us, as they do. A bump later and the pheasant had stopped dead in the road. Or so we thought. We got out to investigate, but alas, the sound of the car doors sent him hobbling into the brush. Food for the fox, we thought, and drove away. 2 days later, we were travelling on the same road, and lo and behold, in the distance, we spotted a lone pheasant sitting on the side of the road. Curious, we stopped to investigate, and initially he didn't move, but certainly it was the same old boy we had hit. By this point, we thought it was our responsibility to check his injuries and to put the poor thing out of his misery, and perhaps find some lunch at the same time. Much chasing and a final capture ensued, where we found only his leg seemed to be broken. He certainly didn't feel like fair game, and thus we resolved to take him home so he could recover from his injury and be released back into the wild. He became Gerald, and a straw-filled hamper in our downstairs loo became his abode. At first he seemed to have no appetite at all, and even what I deemed as pheasant treats like seeds, berries, mealworms and liveworms didn't seem to tempt him. He didn't appreciate visitors coming into his quarters either, so I would sit on the floor, crack the door open and throw some food bits towards him. Nothing seemed to arouse his taste buds, and I was at my wit's end, when I came across a bag of old monkey nuts in the cupboard. Dutifully, I unshelled the peanuts and threw them towards him. This finally caught his attention. From then on, whenever I cracked the door open, he would bob his head, gesturing to the floor until peanuts were thrown for him to gobble up. Soon enough, all this nutty protein seemed to rejuvenate him, and my husband and I felt he had occupied the toilet long enough, so he was moved to the garden after 5 long days of rest. He seemed somewhat dismayed by this development and sat on the hamper for several hours. We wondered if perhaps we'd been too rash, but mid-afternoon, a startling bang on our bifold doors drew my attention, and when I opened it, Gerald was sitting on the doormat. He'd seemingly tried to fly back into the house. When I approached him, he began the familiar head bob for peanuts, and I kindly explained it was time for him to leave. We hadn't intended to adopt him as a pet. He continued to sit there for another couple of hours, and so I resolved to give him one last peanut for the road. Not wanting to mollycoddle him further, and in an aim to get him back to a more independent state of mind, I decided not to peel it, and threw him the whole monkey nut. He instantly gobbled it down and, seemingly outraged at the sudden lack of refined cuisine, took flight into the woods at the back of our garden and in the direction of Board Hill Shoot. To this day, I have always wondered, did Gerald's end come from the end of a barrel, and did the person eating him think he had a strange yet delicious satay taste?
What an amazing story.
Isn't it brilliant?
I mean, pheasant satay is really good, by the way.
Yes.
Is it made better by the fact the pheasant has been purely eating peanuts?
Well, that's it. Can you get the peanut taste in before you put it on a stick and add the peanut sauce? Or, I mean, there must be, because I think Georgie was saying in the pod, you got corn-fed versus grass-fed beef.
Yeah.
You got the salt marsh lamb. There's got to be something in it, hasn't there?
I think if we're
so.
individually feeding every pheasant, hand dishevelled peanuts, the price of a shot bird's going to go up significantly, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but think about how delicious that shot bird is going to be. Like pheasant wagyu.
But then again, I suppose, I mean, we're desperately trying to fight the weather and hold our birds at the moment. So we're heaving out loads and loads of split maize laced with aniseed. And of the few we've shot and have now eaten, none of them taste particularly licoricey.
They don't all taste of sambuca.
Well, thankfully.
But what happens if the person that took it home has a peanut allergy? Does that shoot now have to claim that then their pheasants may contain nuts?
Everyone's all worried about lead poisoning.
Yeah, but actually, it's a monkey nut.
Emma's out there giving people allergic reactions to pheasants.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, they kept him alive for old Gerald alive for a long enough time, and 2 days, and then with a bust up leg. And I want to know more about the leg and the kind of the nursing back and to health about it all. Fair play.
It sounds like there could be an HBO Christmas movie in this, couldn't it? Gerald, the Miracle of Christmas Pheasant.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think we want Disney to get hold of the pheasant, do we?
I'm not.
They did enough damage with the deer.
Does Emma have any gun dogs? That's what I'd like to know, because Gerald seemed very comfortable around the house, and I know that with mine, Gerald certainly would not be living indoors for sure. So fair play, lovely story, mind.
He'd have probably found his way back indoors fairly quickly as well with your pack, wouldn't he?
He would have been hung up by the end of it, I can assure you. But, yeah, very, very good indeed. That's a lovely story.
It is an interesting thing, George, isn't it? And I think I was thinking on the back of the last pod you and Chris were doing, is it something that perhaps we need to look at? Is a lot of the birds now are bred for their flying capabilities, but is there something to be said for breeding them a little more with the table in mind?
Well, this is an interesting thing, because I was always given to understand that that game dealers like the bigger bird because you get more meat per bird, better for the table. I have a suspicion that doesn't necessarily make for the tastiest pheasant. So I think there's a number of competing requirements. And in fact, just to highlight another Scrypound article, Guy Adams published a piece today. Was it today? Yes, it was today. About things like going pheasant neutral, i.e. working out how many pheasants you have shot this year, and then making sure that you personally consume at least that number over the course of over the course of the year subsequent, so that you're not adding to the oversupply of pheasant. You personally, that is. But he also wrote that part of we do seem to be shooting more partridges in general in this country at the moment, but that game dealers are not particularly keen on partridge because they're small and fiddly and a bit of a pain to pluck and all that kind of thing. So I do think that maybe there is something to be said for thinking about what makes the most delicious bird, because actually, if the thing that's going to keep shooting alive is there being a market for what we shoot, whether that market is from within shooting or from outside shooting, making them delicious seems to me the best possible route.
It has to be a balance on the commercial side of it, though, as well, doesn't it? Because you could look at, yes, we want a bigger bird because per carcass, more meat you have commercially is more viable. So you could take a red deer as being more commercially viable, which is why people would farm a red rather than farm a muntjac. But a lot of people will tell you that a muntjac is a lot tastier.
I would definitely tell you that. I had
Yeah.
muntjac loin for my supper on Tuesday, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I think, to your point there on the deer, I think half of the barrier to getting venison widely accepted is there's still this hangover when, venison was the rutty stag off the hill that stinks and the meat's all sour and there's not much on it and it's tough as old boots. And over the years, that's gradually moved towards better, deer shot at more table appropriate times, and obviously the work you're doing as well, Sam. Maybe it's the same with pheasant, that as shooters we seem to relish the January birds that are harder to hit. They're a bit more wily, they've put their weight on, they're fit as fiddles and they fly like demons. Whereas actually for an eating bird, you probably want a slightly younger, tender bird. If you're rearing chickens for the pot, you don't want the old broiler that's been around the yard for years. You want the one that's just in prime condition.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a case of looking at the breeders and saying there has to be a halfway house between a good-sized bird that, even from a domestic point of view, feels like it's worth going through all the rigmarole of plucking or breasting or what have you, that gives you, some good breast fillets, a good roasting bird that's quite tender, it isn't stringy, and it hasn't been dragged around the woods for ages.
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of there's a dual shift there in terms of how we're rearing them, what the strains are, and how we're taking them.
Couldn't agree more.
The issue will be is where the money is in it, and without shooting ourselves in the foot, so to speak, it used to be the case that when there was a lot of, like you said, Avi, and a lot of sour tasting stags that were taken during the rut, the money from that animal had been made in the shooting of the deer rather than in the sale of the venison. That is all shifting now, and the same with the pheasant. Is the bulk of the money is in the shooting of the bird rather than in the sale of the meat. So it's finding the balance between the two, isn't it?
And I think, if you extrapolate that a little bit and say, well, if we are shooting more partridge, that kind of overcomes the lengthening of the season, or the pheasant season is getting further and further into winter. And you could look at it and say, well, actually, if we're producing meat that's going to the table that's of higher quality for a catering point of view, it's also arriving when people have actually got some money left, because, exotic product on a restaurant menu in January, well, nobody goes to restaurants in January. They're all skint after paying their tax and doing Christmas.
Yeah.
So you almost want to front load it and say, if we are, as a sport and as an industry, looking at how do we reduce the price of a day's game shooting to make it more available to a broader range of people, well, the way to do that is to reduce the cost per bird. So one way of reducing the cost per bird is by producing a bird that actually has a market,
has a value
looking
to it,
for it.
Yeah.
That instead of having to either pay to have them taken away, we've actually developed a taste for them, the same way that I think we are doing for venison, and saying, actually, this is a premium product. If we can deliver it in a time frame where people are looking to go out and treat themselves and do something a bit different, whereas we seem to be going the other way of producing, dare I say, breeders, stringier birds that we get the glut of them after Christmas.
Yeah.
Is that a sort of a wrong-headed way of looking at it?
It definitely is indicative of a shooting community that has, on occasion, lost sight of the point of the activity.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the way I'm going to put that diplomatically. And that is not to say that most places are like that.
No.
But we definitely do need to think about that in as many ways as possible, whether that's we talked about this so much with Leon and people like that, game handling, the way it's stored, the way it's looked after, how quickly it's chilled down, what we're using to shoot it, all those sorts of things. It all feeds into this, there has to be a product at the end of it.
And I think that's right. And I think that's going in the right direction, isn't it? We're
Oh, it's definitely heading that way. Yeah, definitely.
the how it's taken, the how it's presented, how it's prepared, all the rest of it. And I guess we need to just make that extra step and start saying, identifying the market for it more correctly and saying, okay, well, we need to find a way to produce the product when the market's ready for it.
Very good. Right. So I've been out and about a fair bit since we last spoke on one of these podcasts, and I cannot tell you how many people have come up to me and said how useful they thought our episode about taking kids out shooting was.
Brilliant.
And we have had an email about that episode, which I thought was rather lovely. So, Jake, why don't you do the honors with this one?
Yeah. So this comes from titled Kids in the Field, and it says, "Good evening, team. Being an avid listener and always finding the topics of conversation of interest, I felt compelled to write in following the piece about the younger generation in the field, ref the EP shoot days with the kids. Both my wife and I are from a long history of field sports families. She, a horse and hound kind of girl, myself, a fly and feather type of guy, with both grandparents and great-grandparents on both sides awash with generational tales and treasures from the countryside." This already sounds like a really great piece. I had a tear in my eye listening as to how to engage with a younger member of society, as I am exceptionally fortunate that my 4-year-old girl and 1-year-old boy are both experts in the beating line. The eldest, being born in June, made her first gamely appearance at 4 months old. However, the youngest, being a late October baby, made his full day appearance at 2 weeks. The looks, remarks of surprise, disbelief, and admiration to my wife are still fond memories today. Now, this is not to say, look at me, aren't I clever, dragging the young souls around a cold, wet Cotswold farm, kicking and screaming, but more to state that our upbringing was to that menu, never did us any harm. And to echo George's point, without getting all boomer in proceedings, shows that screens are no longer required. More importantly, irrelevant when surrounded by the countryside and all that cherish its magic and charm. During your chat, I found myself recalling one of my first and fondest memories of a shooting syndicate. No, not having my arm nearly broken by the gamekeeper's slightly older daughter in a hay barn.
Oh,
Hang on, wait a minute.
Yes,
I'm
I'm not sure. I'm thinking more heart nearly broken.
It might not be a broadcastable story, that.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
it is. Definitely not. So going on, not shooting my first bird with dad's heirloom or any other romantic situation. The memory that sprung to mind was this. As a keen 10-year-old lad, I was tackling the well-ploughed, claggy ground of a partridge drive when I was completely and utterly bowled over by a stocky chocolate lab named Forrest. I can picture this chocolate lab already. I was picked up by his owner, a lovely Irish chap named Peter, and told to shake it off and not get in the way. When truth be told, the bloody thing had anywhere else to go, but instead chose a direct route through me. That was 25 years ago, and it could be yesterday. These are the days and experiences we enjoy, and I am more than fortunate to state that my little tribe actively asked me, "Dad, when are we going pheasant chasing again?" About the 1st of February, which is so true. I think, yeah, Toby does the same. We started our season in late October, and to be honest, I don't know which I get more joy from, a day on peg, a day with a dog, or a day surrounded by my family, dog included, working the line, baking the sausage rolls, prepping the gin, or my 4-year-old mixing my wife's heavenly rocky road. The older I get, the less about a peg and bag it is, and more about life education and upbringing that we are so lucky to have. Chaps, this is I'm loving this. It goes on to write, the syndicate is more than that. It's a community, older, middle, younger, tiny, and without this common inclusivity, the knowledge of what we all love will be lost forever. As I'm sure I and many other like me know, we are unbelievably fortunate, to which words cannot describe, and I'll leave that there. Great work again, team. yours a proud dad with another tear in his eye. That is epic.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Round of
Love
applause.
that. Love
Seriously, that was what a lovely bit of correspondence.
I thought
Well, I
maybe,
think-
Jake, you had a bit of a tear in your eye there.
I did well up a bit there, chaps. I had a lump in my throat. I won't be all manly and say I didn't.
Great softy.
Yeah.
Now, a number of things leapt out at me there. First and foremost, Jake said that he could picture the chocolate Labrador. It was described as a stocky chocolate lab, and I'm going to go out there and say, is there anything other than a stocky chocolate lab out there? I've only ever met fat ones.
I was tempted to be unpopular with all chocolate lab owners and say I can't picture one running.
You don't often see them out in the field.
Well, when they get up to speed, they don't slow down, do they? They're like
Yeah, that's
immovable
it.
force.
Like one of those big American trains.
That letter pretty much encapsulates what we do, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love
It
it.
does.
Yes, it's all the elements.
Yeah, absolutely, and that resonates incredibly well. My children have, both been out with carried, and so awesome. What a lovely, lovely piece. But the chocolate lab hitting the 10-year-old, I can imagine him now. And then your man said, "Oh no, will you get up?" You know.
Where was he from?
Yeah, I knew you'd say that, George.
I think never being one to be shy to ask for an invitation, but if there's sausage rolls, gin, and Rocky Road, yeah, count me in. That sounds bloody good fun. As long as the chocolate lab's got the day off that day.
Lovely.
Tremendous stuff. Thank you very much for that letter. I absolutely
Brilliant.
loved it. Right. Finally, I have a final piece of correspondence, and I've given it the title, A Question of Etiquette. And it starts quite unusually for correspondence to pod@gunsonpegs.com. It starts, Dear George, Chris, Avian, and Sam. There's a name missing.
There is, isn't there?
Anyway, our correspondent says, yesterday I was shooting on a Fenland farm shoot that I've been going to my whole life in my home village of Coveney near Ely. Proper Fenland stuff, big skies, black soil, and birds that really do reach for the skies. It's run by an uncle and nephew, and the nephew is my oldest friend. He invites me every year, and it's always the highlight of my season. This year, he decided to bring along a couple of new guns and set up a WhatsApp group with strict instructions. Arrive at 8:30 for bacon rolls, set off at 9 a.m. sharp. 5 minutes from arriving, 8:21, a message pops up. Hope to be there for 9, just turning round as the 10-year-old forgot to put his wellies in the truck, despite being asked repeatedly. Now, my first question, why are we putting the success of the day in the hands of a 10-year-old's packing skills? And secondly, on a wet Fenland day, surely anyone, checks that the kid's got his wellies. At 9 a.m., everyone else is ready. Bacon rolls eaten, beaters already disinfecting their boots under bird flu protocol. Time ticks on. Guns start shifting from foot to foot, wanting to get kit on. Our latecomer eventually appears 20 minutes later than even his revised 9 a.m., which leads to question 2. Should a fresh ETA have been broadcast? We finally get to the morning briefing, but not before our latecomer and his 10-year-old enter the sweep. The child, under strict instruction, and listens this time, goes for the number above the highest, and the adult, he goes for the one below the lowest, either a tactical masterclass or a brutal lack of confidence in his own shooting ability. On to the first drive, Little Hill. Wildish partridges, so we're told to walk up with guns out of the slip. Predictably, a covey breaks when we're 10 yards from the peg, straight over number 9, whose gun was still in his slip. To be fair, after that he steadied himself, no further chaos until the end of the day. We finished with 114 birds, which was, and here's the kicker, 4 above the highest number in the sweep, meaning our late non-compliant sweep gamesmanship gun won the sweep. So here's my question for Jake. What should the fine be for this series of offences? Late arrival, poor admin, missing the first birds of the day, and the most outrageous sweep victory in memory. And if he's invited back next year, what would he do differently? All in jest and in the aid of good banter, Alec.
Okay, so I've been asked this question. So I would say that, like,
Does any of this sound familiar, Jake?
no,
Jake,
not at all.
who's
This is
about?
all very new. This just sounds incredibly new to me. And what a lovely shoot by the uncle and nephew. How good are we back again at family, remaining in a tight knit community?
Look, stop deflecting.
I think this is something we didn't cover in Kids in the Field, isn't it? Is the packing the truck up,
completely my fault.
forgetting your wellies.
Completely my fault. I didn't check. It was absolute steer odds over this side of the country on this day. This is about me and Tobes. So let's answer the first one. Wellies, hands up. I can try and blame Toby, but I am the adult. No, should I say I'm the parent? The responsible adult wasn't with us. She stayed at home looking after our daughter. But what I would say was incredibly embarrassed. Got onto the A142, other side of Newmarket, almost there, and I just said, Tobes. You put your wellies in, didn't you, buddy? And he was like, no. Oh, yeah, I did. And I was like, where? And he was like, Daddy, I didn't. I was like, and you just can't get cross because I didn't check. And so I was like, right, sugar, we're in trouble now. Got to get back across Newmarket when it's Saturday morning and every horse is out working on the gallops and you're being held up. It was just a nightmare. Anyway, so that was that. So I apologize for that. I'm thinking fine for that, chaps. Now, this team, they love their port, so a good bottle of port for that, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I'm going to say for that one,
I don't think you should be thinking up your own fines.
Yeah, no, we're gonna come back to you on this.
100%. No, well, I'm just putting it out there because they do like it. Right, well, we haven't finished.
Various fines.
You make a good point, but let me finish, and then from that, I
think there's another finable offence here is that the lack of communication. I think
listen, lads, I'm driving.
A message of,
I've got to keep to the law, Avian. Sorry, buddy. I've got to keep to the law. I pulled over to send the text, so I've got to set examples and all that type of stuff. But what I will say when we looked at the this is a thing on the sweep.
I'm intrigued to hear how you try and crawl out of this one.
On the sweep, I knew exactly what I was doing. Everyone else was in.
I think you might need to fall on your sword.
Yeah,
for this one,
I knew exactly what I was doing on this one. I went low. Toby went high. We sat on the top. We sat on the bottom. I had no idea what the day was, so I would have gone low anyway because it was in the fens. The rain was howling, and even though I am back against the wall right now, oh my God, did uncle and nephew in the fens produce some of the most spectacular birds in steer rod rain all day, pretty much. And these fen birds, I haven't shot a fen shoot like this before. They go up on their tails in 4 beats of their wings, and they just kept going. The duck were in, everything just worked perfectly in the worst weather conditions. So the partridge, I will say on my defence for the first drive walking out to 9, Fenland black soil, claggy as hell, and also I was just a bit kind of like kerfuffled. So I didn't want to get my gun until I got the peg. I didn't want to make a mistake. It's already bloody late.
Whoa, Jake. Let's cover the sweep first. Obviously, you won that and you donated it to which charity?
I didn't. Toby won it, and you've never seen a more happy face for winning it.
So donated it under his dad's instructions to which charity?
Not at all. No charity whatsoever. Charity starts at home, Samuel, and he is going to probably buy, I don't know, something ready for Christmas that we've already kind of planned and earmarked. But yeah.
And then so the first drive, who was peg 9?
Yeah, I was peg 9, and I was just being a safe gun.
Oh, you're being a safe gun.
I just wanted to be safe, and what happened?
So no fine necessary for that one.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to take a fine for that one.
I take it that we were told to walk up isn't guidance, is it? It's an instruction.
Yeah, so
it is an instruction.
No, I will always err on the side.
It wasn't even offered that you could carry your gun out of the slip.
Yeah, so there was when we got halfway down.
And shoot before the horn. You were told.
Yeah, no, it was one of those chaps where I'm going to sit on the air side. I'm not going to fall to peer pressure on this one, boys. I'm going to say categorically, I didn't feel comfortable walking down there. I was a bit flustered and everything, a bit embarrassed for being late. And so I thought I'd take it easy.
Well-
Partridge will be there for another day. It's a bloody good shoot. They'll get them back where they want them to be.
Right.
The partridge will be there. We'll be back there another day. Will you?
Maybe
Apparently
not,
not.
but it was a bloody good day. It was a bloody good day.
But listen,
So-
I'm going to slightly come to Jake's defence because when we last shot at home here for the final drive, I was probably 40 yards from my peg when the first covey of partridge went over and did not have my gun out of my slip. And then this weekend I was shooting and I had what I'm going to refer to as a sat-nav catastrophe. And at the stated joining time, I was doing laps of the A34, trying to find a turning that did not exist and was consequently quite late for the shoot as well. So it can happen to the best of us.
It
The
can.
question is how you handle it thereafter.
I think it's one of those, isn't it, that when things start to when the wheels start coming off the trolley, they tend to go like a cascade, don't they? So
Never seem to go back on.
I think Alec's taken this in very good humour, and I'm pretty sure, Jake, you'll be invited back next time. I think you may have to supply something quite spectacular for the 11s table, but
I think
he's got his garters out of it. He's got a bloody good letter out of it, and we've got a bit more taking the piss out of Jake at Mount Garrett.
Well, I'd
material.
rather you didn't, but now it's on a podcast that's listened to almost 5,000 people every week. Then, but there we go. Great one, Alex. I can't wait to bump into you again, old boy. Because, Alex, everyone on that shoot, his wife Sam, the whole team. What a lovely! It encapsulates what shooting's all about. There's community from youngsters all the way up to the older generation and everyone in between. We were made to feel incredibly welcome. There was even a sighting of a country slide host at this shoot day as well. So it was lovely to just be around friends. And what a lovely day. They do a great job over there. Fenland pheasants, if you haven't ever got stuck into them, they're incredible.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. I loved it. Sorry for being late again. I'll take it fine. Let me know what it is.
Right, let's put him out of his misery. Let's move on.
Please do.
Like to say, though, I loved that every second of it. Hugely enjoyable. Right, slightly different Grand's Day Out because Guns on Pegs have launched a new website, and it is all about sim shooting. The website is called claydays.uk, and it's basically exactly the same concept as Guns on Pegs, but everything on there is sim shooting. So I thought I would bring that to everyone's attention. Obviously, when it comes to our Grand's Day Out rubric of being under a grand, most sim shooting, I think, falls under that category. And if you're already sort of looking ahead towards the end of January and thinking, oh, goodness me, we're halfway through the season, there's not a lot left, what better place to go and find yourself a bit of fun in the countryside for once the season's over? Or even, if the wheels have fallen off and you feel you need to get back in the groove, maybe you can find something in the next few weeks as well. So go and check that out. Jake, I think you've had some communication from Gemma.
This is hot off the press that also all most noble order of the Garters have just had an upgrade. Guys, you have been upgraded to a free year of Guns on Pegs Premium.
That's amazing. So Guns on Pegs Premium is a really great thing, particularly if you are in the market for some lower cost shooting, or their latest development there, which we talked about a bit, is the sealed bids. It's sort of it's Guns on Pegs with knobs on. You get access to discounted days. You get access to the sealed bids where you can really pick up some bargains. There's a bunch of other benefits as well, which you can check out on the Guns on Pegs website. So, Jake, when people, I think, need to just email pod@gunsonpegs.com and say, I'm a member of the Most Noble Order of the Garters, can I please activate my Guns on Pegs Premium? Is that right?
Absolutely right. And just Go for it. It's awesome. It's such a generous gift from you guys. And so, yeah, brilliant. Enjoy.
Does the Guns on Pegs premium go across to the claydays.uk, or have I spoken beyond my station there?
You have spoken. You've asked a question I don't know the answer to. I suspect not. I don't believe
Fair
there are
enough.
premium offers for Clay Days yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's something the guys are thinking about. What I would like to say though is, if you are emailing in to activate your new premium status, and you have yet to receive your garters, it's almost certainly because I don't have your address. So if you could please, at the same time, include your postal address, that will make it rather easier for us to facilitate the delivery of your highly prized, very exclusive Guns on Pegs podcast shooting sock garters. So that's my PSA. And also to anybody who ever writes in, just include your address at the same time, just in case. That would be really helpful. Thank you very much. Right. I think we'll call it a day there. That was all very good fun.
Excellent.
Well, some of it was. The end wasn't great for me, was it?
There was some fantastic
mean,
stuff
yeah.
in there.
It's very nice whiskey, this.
Yeah, well done.
I'm very much looking forward to our shoot day at the end of next week.
This time next week, we
Yes.
will be up in Mount Garrett, or just outside Harrogate. So very, very cool. Chaps, you don't know this, but I got off the phone to Frank minutes before we came on to record this. So I'm about to put in all the finer details into the group, the Order of the Garters group there. So yeah, watch out. I'll be doing that in the next half an hour or so. There are big fines on white pheasants, and there's also some other things to watch out for.
I think you should be a bit teasy about issuing fines at the current moment. You're sort of on the eggshells a little, Mr. Wolf.
Not whatsoever, because I'm photographing as well.
Those in glass houses.
No, I am absolutely in good order. So cannot wait to photograph you guys all again next week, shooting those whites.
Oh.
Bring some money.
Right. So before we go, all that remains for me to say is there's a final reminder that you can get your hands on a pair of the very exclusive Guns on Pegs podcast shooting sock garters by sending us your shooting dilemmas for us to resolve, or sharing your unpopular opinions, your forgotten drives, or your podcast suggestions, or any names you might have as suggestions for Avian's cider. Drop us an email to pod@gunsonpegs.com, and if we read it out in the next episode and you send us your address, we will send you some garters. That's your lot. Keep sending your follow-up thoughts in. Chris and I'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. But until then, thanks very much for listening, and goodbye.
Wow.